Hello, I've just bought this Crosstour Action camera and I thought anyone considering buying one might be interested to hear my views and comments on it. When you open the box, you're presented with the little camera itself inside a waterproof casing. That's how it arrives, and you also get a box with accessories which I'll show in a moment. First of all, to have a look at the camera, you just unclip this little clip which is spring loaded. You can then, the back will flip off like that and the little camera will just drop out. There's the housing itself. It's quite well made, surprisingly well made actually. Little chrome buttons on the side so you can operate all the function of the camera, and it's said to be waterproof. But we'll come to that in a moment. Let's just talk about the camera itself. This is the little camera. Let's move it a little bit closer, there we go. On the front you've got the mode button, which is also the on-off button, and on the top there's a little OK button, and there's a little LED there which lights up blue, but we'll come to that later. There are two buttons on the side. On the other side you've got a slot for the micro SD card and also two other connectors. One is the mini USB connector to connect it to the computer or for charging. The other one's a mini HDMI connector. There's also another little jack there, which is one of the reasons I bought the camera for, and we'll mention that in a moment. This is the tiny battery that comes with the camera. It fits in underneath, as I mentioned earlier. When you buy the camera, surprisingly, you get two of these with the camera, two batteries, which is quite useful. You don't actually need to take the battery out for charging. You charge it in the camera using the small USB connecting leads that's supplied with it. But you can obtain a charger if you want to charge the batteries up separately. It's actually quite extraordinary the amount of stuff they supply with the camera. There's all sorts of fittings and things. I'm just going to tip them out on here because there's so many, and then I'll discuss them later. There we go. Look at that lot. And I'll go through the items just to show you what you actually get. Remember, all this comes with the camera. You don't have to buy anything extra, which is quite good. As well as what I've already mentioned, the waterproof casing and the spare battery and the camera itself, these are the things you get. Some of these things are quite good for the price of the camera. This little thing here is a remote control. You can put it on your wrist with this strap provided, or you can fit it anywhere actually. You could stick it onto something. And basically what that does, it allows you to operate the camera from a distance. You can press the little grey button for the video, or you can press the red one to take a photo. So that's quite a useful little thing. That comes with the camera. We'll just put that aside there. The next thing that's quite important is this little frame here. You just pop the little camera like that into the frame, and then you can mount it on a tripod if you wish, or one of the other fittings. You can still see the little screen on the back, so you can see what you're actually filming. So that's quite a useful thing, that little frame, rather than putting it in the waterproof casing. Now, to go along with that, if you want to mount it on your bicycle, this is another fitting you get. As you can see, it's got two quite nicely made bolt fittings here, and you just simply undo these and put it onto your handlebars of your bicycle. It's a bit tricky trying to show this. Actually, it might be better if I lay it down on there. You can see it better then. I'll just move it around a bit. It's just a simple little fitting. It enables you to fit it onto a bicycle handlebar, or a tube if that matter, or anything like that. And then this piece, as you'll see in a moment, takes all the other fittings. For example, this is one of the fittings here, which allows you to fit it onto other devices. So you simply take that piece. It's a bit fiddly for my big hands. That fits into there like that, and then you use another one of these supplied bolts here, and that goes through there like so, and then you can tighten it up like that, and then you've got that little piece on there, and you can set it and tighten it up any particular angle, and then you've got another fitting on there that fits onto other parts. For example, this piece here is another. Let's just put this out of the way a moment. This is another attachment, and the camera will fit directly on there, and that will slide into a little plate like this, which is also supplied. You get two of these little plates with it. This one's got a thread, a tripod thread in there, and on the other side there's a sticky pad. Obviously I haven't taken the tape off it, or you can actually stick it onto something, and the idea of that is this piece here slides into there. Actually it's the wrong way around, you have to do it that way. That just clicks into place. Nice, quite nicely fitted things, and you just push it down to unclip it again. So you get, as I say, you get two of those, one with a tripod thread and one with just a hole in the centre and a sticky pad. So you get those two. Then you get another fit in here, which is basically the same as this one, angled one, but it doesn't have the stand up on it. And that also fits into these little pads, so that's another little fit in that you get with it. You also get this fit in here, which has got a strong clip on here. I don't know if you can see that. And the idea of that is that will fit onto this little frame here. It just slides up in like this. Now obviously if you've got that on, you can't see what's on the screen at the back. And I've put it on upside down. No, I haven't. I've got it the right way around. I've got the camera upside down. That's the way it goes. Now with that, you can then operate that little clip and clip it onto something. I mean, it could be a piece of wood on something or whatever, or you can clip it onto your clothing and have a body camera if you like, so that's quite useful. But bear in mind you can't see the screen with that, so we'll take that off and get it off. That's right, and that's that one. There's another fit in here. There's so many fittings. Again, they all come with this nice little knob with a captive bolt in it. That fit-in slides into one of these or any of the other things that have got that attachment on it, so that's another fitting you get with it. Where are we? There's another little fit in there, which is, that one's a direct fit-in, so it's straight through, whereas the one I showed you there is a right angle fit-in. It goes on one way and the other. It's at right angles, that one, and that's a straightforward one. This is like the same as a right angle fit-in, the same actually as the one on there, except this one's got an extension on, a longer extension. This is another useful piece. Well, I think it's useful. Again, it's a straightforward fitting, so you can fit the camera on it. The camera fits on that end, and this will fit on the other fittings. But the thing about this one is, you can take this off here, and then you've got a tripod mounting screw-in set in there, so you can actually screw that onto a tripod and fit your camera on the top of there. Or on the other end, you've got a little screw here where you can screw the camera onto, you see, like so, and then you've got that standard fitting on there, so you can connect it to these other things. Also, there's various straps with attachments which can be used with the camera, or various. You've got a little metal cable, and there's two spare self-adhesives for these fittings. The little cable there, you can attach the camera into something else, so that if it drops, you don't lose the camera, you can still keep it captive to something. So you get that. This is a spare cover. Now this looks, to start with, just like the same as the cover that's on the waterproof case, but actually it's not, it's different. I know it looks the same. You just basically unclip this, it just presses down to unclip, and you can clip this one instead. The difference between the two is, this cover is a fully waterproof cover, so that when you, if you do, I'm not going to go underwater with it, but if you dropped it in the water, this would protect it, it makes it waterproof. If you put this one on, it won't be waterproof. But the idea is that it's got these two slots. It's very difficult to see them because I've got the protective film still on, but there are two slots down each side. The idea of that is that if you put that on, you can have the camera in there, so it's marginally waterproof, say out in the rain, but the two slots in the back allow the microphone in the camera to pick up the sound. If you just put the camera in there and close it up tightly, you won't get any sound because the mic is insulated from the outside. But if you put that one on, the sound can permeate through the two little slots, and so you will get sound with that. So that's quite useful if you're out in the rain or something. But one of the most important things that I bought this for was this little microphone. And it's got a little clip on there, and it's only a tiny microphone, as you can see, but it's quite good. I have tried it, tested it out. And you've got a fairly long lead on it, and the mini 2.5 jack plug. And obviously you can put that in the side of the camera there, and you've got an external mic, which is brilliant, because one of the problems I've got with my normal video camera, there is no provision for an external mic, and sometimes you're doing things and it picks up noise you don't want the camera to actually hear or pick up, and drowns what you're saying. Well, with this you can have the microphone attached to your body or somewhere nearby, and some distance from the camera, which I think is a really good thing. The whole lot cost me, I think it was £33. It was about 43, and there was a £10 voucher. In case anybody's interested, I will mention it at the end of the video. It's an action camera CT8500 by Crosstour. This is the small lead that they supply with the camera. It's got a mini USB on one end and a standard USB on the other end. This acts as the charging cable to charge the little battery up inside the camera. It also acts so that you can connect the camera up to a PC. You can extend it if it's not long enough, just use an extension lead or a longer cable. When you come to use the camera, the first thing to do is just to press the power button here and just hold it for about 2 seconds. Once you've done that, you'll see the screen will come on with the word Crosstour, and now you can see the image on the screen. Now to start the recording, all you need to do is just press the little OK button on the top. You'll see the lettering change to red, which indicates that it's now recording. To stop it, just press the OK button again. If you want to take photographs rather than video, you just press the mode button once more, like that, and that changes it now to the photograph option, and you can just press the OK button. Now you can hear the camera working, and that takes a picture. If you want to, you can use the remote control to start the video or to take a photograph, so that, for example, I'll put the camera down there, I'll rest it on that, it won't, will it? I'll rest it on there. Now I'm going to press the button to take a photograph. The red one should take a photograph. There you go. I've taken 2 pictures with that. Again, if you've got it on the video setting, pressing the grey button will start the video, and pressing it again will stop it. As far as the results go, the resolution of the camera is quite amazing actually. It's rated at 4K. You can actually film in a variety of different modes and different resolutions. The main one is 4K at 30 frames a second. You've also got 2.7K at 30 frames a second. You can do 1080p at 60 frames or 30 frames a second, and there's also 720p, which you can do at 120 frames a second if you want to. At the moment I've got it set on 1080p at 30 frames a second, which seems to give quite good results. As far as photographs go, you can take images in various resolutions, starting at 5 megapixels up to the standard 20 megapixels. The camera has a timer delay on it, so you can set it up to take a photograph after, say, 2 seconds or 10 seconds if you wish. And it also has a burst photograph mode, which means you can take 3 or 5 photographs one after the other, which is quite a useful function. The films and images are stored on a micro SD card in here. At the moment I've got a 64GB card in there, but you can use anything, according to the instructions anyway, you can use anything from 8 to 64GB. My grandson, he's always one step ahead, and he's actually got a 128GB card in his camera, and it seems to be working alright, but I'm not absolutely convinced it will record the full 128, because it does specify maximum 64. But we'll see how he goes with it. At the moment it's doing quite well, and it's still working fine. But it's not what it says in the instruction book, so we'll have to see on that one. As well as recording standard video, you can also do time-lapse photography with it. It'll do looping and also slow motion, which is quite useful. The little battery supplied with the camera, as I mentioned, you do get 2. Normally takes about 3 hours to charge. That's using the USB lead, and it will give you about 90 minutes of recording time. But there is another way you can do much longer, and my grandson's actually doing that at the moment. He uses a power bank, a plug-in power bank, which gives you much more power. He can power up the camera almost continuously, providing the SD card is big enough to hold the recordings, of course. But that is quite a good idea. You have a spare battery. If you do take the battery out to change it for a replacement one, then the camera will lose the date and time on it. Now, that may not be important to you. If you just want to do filming, changing the battery is not a problem. But if you want to keep a date stamp on your recordings, you can either have the date stamp on or off. I've got mine on, so I know when it was taken, but you don't have to do that. But it will actually, once you take the battery out, remove the data on the date stamp. The camera will work by, swapping it over, but it will lose the date, and you'd have to reset it each time. As well as being able to connect the little camera to your computer with the USB mini USB cable, you can also connect it to a tablet or a phone using Wi-Fi. And all you have to do is you download a small free app onto your phone or tablet. You can easily get it through Google Play. Load that onto your tablet or phone. All you do, you simply turn the camera on by pressing the mode button on the front for 2 seconds. The camera should then come on Crosstour, like so. Once the camera's on, just go down the side and press the top button there, and you should find that little light will flash blue. And then on the back of the screen, it should come up, there you go, and it says SSID Live DV and the password, which is just a series of numbers. And all you do, you go to your tablet and load up the Live DV application and enter the password, and then the camera will connect to your tablet or phone, and on the screen you can see what's actually on the screen here, and you actually use the tablet to take photographs just remotely, just as you would with a remote control, and you can actually see on the screen what you're taking. And the same with the filming, you can do the filming from the tablet, which is quite good. You can also alter a few of the settings. It's quite useful because if you're filming, you can't always see what's on the camera, and it's only a small screen, so you could have it on the tablet and a larger screen in front of you, so you can see what you're doing when you're filming. For the money, I think this is really good value actually, and I say it's early days, but I am very pleased with it so far. And I will put a little bit of video on this particular video to show you what some of the results are like, because I did try it out on my bike yesterday and took some film, so I can show you a little bit of what it looks like. Is that a carton? Be careful. Mind the cattle grid up there.